This time on Improvisation Center, we are in London, UK. What are we doing here, you ask? Well, part of a multi-part vacation. Part of it is us being in London, and from there we are getting on a cruise ship that will be taking us to some ports in Spain and then across the Atlantic to Miami, where they'll be keeping that ship. So really this is more like a 3-part vacation, you can say. So yeah, we're in London. We already checked into our hotel. We're just gonna do a little walking around. We're gonna catch a few sights and everything. What do you call it? Museums, stuff like that. And we'll get back to you on some of that stuff when we get to it. So as usual, stand by. We're at Green Park right now. Gonna be our next stop is Buckingham Palace. So let's march on. Well, we were able to get a few seconds of some good footage of the guards walking on by at the palace. As you could see, it is wall-to-wall people. The road is thick with these people right now. So really getting a good vantage point is difficult at best. You'd probably have to be here early for that. But there's the palace though. So yeah, there it is. We're gonna move on to some more tourist sites. Stand by. Yeah, short little walk from Buckingham Palace and we've got Big Ben. Also had Parliament Square right here as well. But yeah, one of the obvious attractions is Big Ben. Unfortunately, it is closed, so we're not gonna be able to go in there. So yeah, you could just look at it like we are, and we'll go on from here. We're gonna keep moving. Going across the Thames River. Another thing we were looking at was big Ferris wheel. We might get on the big Ferris wheel. That should present a hell of a view, don't you think? Well, we're going on the big old Ferris wheel. We're going to be on this thing for about 30 minutes. We're going to get some good views of London. So, stand by again. And we are on the Ferris wheel. Slowly but surely. Like they don't even stop moving. They let people on and let them off.
And welcome to the lastminute.com London Eye. Are you ready to be part of London's skyline? Whilst you're enjoying the amazing views, the ride might stop briefly at times, just to help other guests get on. This is totally normal.
That's so terrible. When we are
The roof, right.
no, we're getting higher, aren't we?
Yeah.
Kind of interesting how the pods rotate on a pair of rings as the wheel goes around. So it's like they're balanced, weighted in the bottom maybe. Don't know. Still interesting. Currently in the subway, waiting to catch a ride so we can go to our next tourist spot. And we got incoming.
Please stand back for the platform edge.
It's a little stuffed up in here. We're walking through the Italian Gardens, little park area, right after we got off the train. A nice little area. Got a lot of walking paths, little pond there. Pretty neat little area. It's just another area we're crossing through on our way to our next destination, which I'm not 100% sure where that's at yet, but we'll see in a minute. So, again, stand by. This whole park is rather big. We've been walking for a few minutes already, and it just continues on. Still a nice place to walk through or run through or walk your dog, as we see a lot of people doing. Got a good sized lake right here. All kinds of birds. We're at about the end of the line in this park, so yeah. Well, our stop was supposed to be Kensington Palace, but unfortunately it is closed, so doesn't look like we'll be going inside today. So we'll see where else we can go to. Stand by. Well, look at what we found here. HMS Belfast, a cruiser sitting on the river. And yes, we're gonna go inside this thing. So stand by. We're at the gun turret. Big gun for a big bullet.
1 back, 2 shoulder, 3 landing, round hold, alighting, reach hold, unlaid, fire.
Quartermaster's Lobby. This ship got to see D-Day, along with some other episodes. The cafe and toilets. More ammo, more guns. Metadine power room. Supplying power to the big guns, 4-inch guns. Got a machine shop here. It'd be like my home away from home. Smokestacks. One of the masts. Crane for loading up everything. Superstructure. Another antenna mast, radar. We actually have a bona fide cafe on board, so we can eat and tour. I guess we're gonna go and eat some. Stand by. Guess they do little like you can use these rooms for events and whatnot. Morgan Giles room. Nice little room in there. The Stoker's Cafe. Well, food's calling.
You guys want to phone? Yeah. Took you half an hour to make it too.
Yeah, we had us a little meal in the cafe. Got us a battery repair shop. Unlike today where we just toss batteries out or send them away, they fix their batteries. Back outside. We're at the bow here. And next to a couple more big guns. Big 6-inch guns. Maybe not battleship guns, but big enough to punch something. Obviously all the guns are the same.
4 6-inch gun turrets. Each of the heavily armoured turrets houses 3 6-inch guns and weighs 175 tons. These guns, which helped to destroy the shore post and which battered enemy positions in Normandy and Korea, are an impressive reminder of the awesome power of naval gunnery. HMS Belfast 6-inch guns could be used either against surface targets or to bombard enemy positions on land up to 14.5 miles or 23 kilometres away. The 4 6-inch gun turrets were controlled from either one of the 2 armoured direct-to-control towers. The direct-to-control towers were responsible for detecting and identifying potential targets for the guns. From 1942 onwards, targets were acquired and tracked by radar, but before that, large optical range finders had been used. Information about the target's range and bearing was then passed to the transmitting station. The transmitting station housed the Admiralty Fire Control Table, a mechanical computer which calculated the correct elevation and training needed for the gun to hit its target. The ammunition for the guns was brought up from the shell rooms and magazines. These were located well below the waterline, protected by heavy armour. Mechanical hoists were used to bring up the 6-inch shells, each weighing 112 pounds or 51 kilograms, and the bags of cordite needed to propel them. Each turret was manned by a crew of 27, and a further 20 worked in the shell rooms and magazines below. The turret crew ran both the shells and their cordite charges manually into the breeches of the guns. The guns were then trained and elevated by hydraulic power. The firing sequence was controlled from the director control tower under the overall command of the captain and gunnery officer. A well-trained crew could be expected to fire up to 8 rounds a minute from each gun. HMS Belfast guns are now silent, but both forward turrets are trained on a target 12.5 miles away on the other side of London, the Scratchwood Motorway Services area on the M1, now London Gateway, as a reminder of the immense power and range of these guns.
Outside on the bow of the ship, take a little walk to that. Pretty good view. 2 big guns, 2 sets of big guns, aiming at an elevation that would send these shells 14 miles down range, which ain't nothing to sneeze at, so you wouldn't even see it coming. Going up Admiral's Bridge. Bridge Mess Pantry. Go up some more stairs to the bridge. Where the head honcho is hanging out at. This was a flagship. The main ship where the main man will be hanging out at to direct the action. We have here some anti-aircraft guns for when you want to do a little duck hunting, Army style. Electronic Warfare Office. Let's see what we got in here. Bofors anti-aircraft gun and the ammo for said gun, and they would go through a lot of that ammo. Admiral's Sea Cabin. This would be the officer's shower, but obviously we're not going in there. Captain's Sea Cabin and Admiral's Sea Pantry. We got all the electronic gizmos over here.
Man,
More gizmos.
bring them down these ladders. Learning how to.
Most of the stuff was vacuum tube technology. Really, all of it was. Go down another set of stairs. Imagine doing so at high speed in the heat of battle. Got the officers' cabins. Officers' cabins are rather compact. If you jump up in the middle of the night, you will get a concussion. Down the stairs we go, down the stairs we go.
We didn't do one without jars, but never mind.
Down the stairs we go. That's a whole lot of people to feed there. Where all the action is at, right in the kitchen. Yummy. Another little eating spot. Get all your candy and everything. Like a little canteen or commissary. Kit and shit. They offer overnight stays like on some of the other ships we've seen, which is pretty cool. Provision issue room. Take a little walk down to the engine room, boiler room, and go ahead and come back up here and see some of the other stuff that we missed. Because these ships are big enough that you will miss some stuff. The cruise bathroom. Got enough sinks for guys. Go even deeper into the heart of the ship. We got us some machinery. Down to where the power is made. I'm sure. A2 boiler. A lot of heat, a lot of fire, and a lot of noise. Yeah, low bridge. This is a generator, turbine generator. 350 kilowatt DC turbo generator. A lot of DC power. Fry you like a chicken. A1 boiler. Lower section of the boiler room. A little dark. Fuel oil registers, burners, where all the fire is made. A whole lot of fire. They actually partially automated the boiler room control to make it easier to evacuate the boiler room in case of nuclear, biological, or chemical contamination.
And I can assure you they're really noisy places.
Burner for A2 boiler. They got the telegraph here where they let the boiler room know they need more power. Or, as you can see, making smoke. Whatever, decreasing speed, increasing speed. Got to break down some of the machinery bilge pump. Everything's steam powered, or sometimes electrically powered by the steam generators. We actually had large fans that drew air into the boiler room to help feed the burners on the furnaces. Huge fans. Needed air for the furnaces and for the dudes in there too. And passing through the bathroom area.
Showers.
Got a little shower area. Damage control base.
This meant that we could undertake repairs on the run. So if something went wrong, we could come up here, take some spare bits, fit them, and the ship could carry on with its job. But the real reason that the ships, whether it be our naval warships or convoys, now during the Second World War, after she was blown up by the mine, she was sent out on convoys.
That there was the machine shop. They were giving an extra tour, talking about the workings of the ship. But that there was one of the machine shops for where they have to make do when they have to do repairs. Had lathes and all kinds of machinery in there for fabricating necessary parts to repair busted up stuff during battle. Life on board the ship. Have a laundry, chapel, post office, radio station. As usual, these ships are literally floating cities. The night toilets. Right here we have a big old torpedo flat. Even though this is a cruiser, it does have the capability to shoot torpedoes. Interesting enough, we're at the laundry, which was run by Chinese civilians who lived on board with the crew. So, crazy enough, if something happened to the ship, they were caught in the middle of it. It's interesting enough to imagine being a regular civilian not expected to fight, but you're here washing clothes for the guys fighting and essentially living right next to the guys fighting. So you are technically in the middle of the battle with them, whether you're holding a gun or not. Wild. All the washers and dryers, steam presses, spending their whole time washing clothes. Actually had a wood shop here basically, where they did everything that involved any kind of woodwork, just like the machine shop. Everybody had a role. Everybody had to do something to keep this ship going. We got us the mail room, which obviously is pretty small because, well, all you're having to do is handle the mail for just the crew, whatever mail's coming in. More slower back then than it is now. So, yeah. Stamping letters, sending letters out, bringing letters in. Simple thing. Now we have the chapel for the guys that want to get saved or stay saved or atone for anything they feel they need to. Sound reproduction room, basically a radio station.
Air intake for boilers.
They more or less broadcast music and other stuff across the ship so we can keep the guys entertained and boost their morale. As you can see, they have record players, multiple record players in there. All the other radio equipment. Pretty cool. Just like the wood shop and the metal shop, we also have the electrical workshop. so all the electricians can spend pretty much all their time working on electrical hardware within, which you could see you have stuff like telephone, intercom equipment, electric motors, stuff like that. Electronics were obviously limited to vacuum tubes back then, so that's what they were working on. No IC chips or transistors at that time. And then you also have the cooler right here, which, interestingly enough, they advise you to test for a gas. I'm not sure of the composition based on these symbols here. Chlorine, fluorine gas, I don't know. I know Cl is chlorine. Either way it goes, basically test for that gas unless you want to die in the cooler and be just like that meat sitting on the rack. Dead meat. Within the butcher shop, we have beef screen. Funny fact, fresh meat was butchered here, but including a reindeer given by the Russians in 1943, which was eaten for Christmas lunch. So the crew had Rudolph for Christmas dinner, lunch, whatever. Poor Rudolph. Didn't get to play in any reindeer games because he was eating. Take us a nice little walk inside the galley. Deep fat fryers. They use lard in these fryers.
Man.
Who can imagine that the cooks probably found creative ways to mix up some stuff and deep fry it? Who knows? Got all our ovens here. More than enough ovens and fryers and everything to make enough food to feed all these guys. Imagine having to cook that many peas and soup and whatever. Those are some big crock pots, ain't it? That thing right there is a automatic potato peeler. Peeling a whole lot of potatoes at one time. Okay, if getting shot at and blown up isn't bad enough, how about having dental work done? Yeah. I don't think yesterday was like it is today, so that probably would suck having to have dental work done then.
Yet when we look back,
They referred to these as the mess deck differently than what the Americans referred to as the mess deck, but really they're bunks. Bunches of bunks. But these are the senior ratings, the crew, senior crew. They slept in here. Not exactly Sealy mattresses, but hey, better than sleeping on the floor. We're now in the bakery, where all the bread and whatever other flour-based stuff was made at. A lot of bread, a lot of dough. Feed a lot of dudes. We got here the potato store, basically a root cellar where they keep all the potatoes and veggies, and they even have a fake cat down there to indicate that they had a cat up in here to help hunt the little rats that probably made their way on board. Don't want to spoil the food because of a rat, so have a cat. And if you need some drugs, come to the dispensary or the pharmacy. Only necessary drugs, of course, but I'm sure they probably had morphine to kill the pain if you were wounded or otherwise seriously injured. We have a sick bay right here where injured and sick guys were brought to be worked on. And of course, in the heat of battle, this area could have been rather busy. We have the bunks for all the sickies that had to be stowed away while they got better. Basically a little hospital. Of course, the patients, they could have the option of using a private bathroom right here instead of going across the ship to the communal bathroom, which might be better if they're trying to recover from something. And then you have the bona fide bathroom to wash up all the patients. You can wash up any wounds and whatnot. Here we have basically the doctor's office where they examine any of the patients. Have the bed right here. Pretty tight area. He's got his little typewriter to type up his reports on his patients. Tight, compact, but still practical. They have what's called the sailmaker's shop. Not exactly sure, probably for the flags and whatnot, but I guess sailmaker's shop referred to a general term as far as whatever involved using canvas and knots and whatnot, but another role to be played on the ship. Capstan flat. That's what this room was called. It's where they raise and lower the anchor. You also had a little prison right here, the brig. Do wrong, that's where you end up. Raise the anchor, lower the anchor. Another little mess hall for everybody to sit and chow down and hang out. Cats were indeed a necessary evil on the ship to keep the mice and rats under control, if not eliminated, such as Frankenstein the cat. We're now in the shell room, where all the big bullets were getting staged to be loaded up to the big guns. A whole lot of them. Obviously they're demilitarized, but still.
This was taken up there.
Yep. All the lifts to bring the shells up. And all the racks to stage all the shells. Take them from the racks, put them on this rotary section, and just keep sending them on up, sending them on up.
The showrooms and magazines within the most heavily protected area of the ship and were located at either end of the armored core.
As they stated, these areas were heavily armored for obvious reasons. You don't want an errant shell to hit one of these areas and blow the whole ship up. Obviously, these quarters were not made for big dudes. Made our way through the shell rooms. So now we get to go back up the stairs. You even have what they call the clothing store. Basically where all the uniforms are kept at. Uniforms, shirts, pants, shoes, hats, everything. Yep. The clothing store. Well, we pretty much covered the whole ship, inside and out, up and down, top and bottom, all that good stuff. So we're gonna make our way on out, continue on with the rest of our day. Pretty cool ship, like most all these old World War II ships are. A time capsule worth preserving so future generations can be able to learn from this stuff. So we'll be moving along. Yep. Get to go back into London. We'll be heading to the London Bridge next. Well, we're officially on London Bridge. Walked on up there. Walking to see about doing the whatever little tour they have for it. So, yeah, we're gonna keep on walking. Make our way inside. So, stand by. We are entering one of the towers on the bridge. Whole lot of stairs.
Lighthouse stairs.
On 21st June 1886, Edward, Prince of Wales, lays the foundation stone for Tower Bridge. Up to 848 workers were employed at any one time to build the bridge. It took 8 years and cost £1.184 million to build Tower Bridge. That would be a whole lot in today's money. And we're making our way up further.
Further.
It's a whole lot of stairs. The foundations reach 8 meters deep beneath the Thames. Teams of divers and navies worked over 2 years to create the footings for the two towers. 1890. $31 million bricks used, 1,000 tons of iron, 6,600 cubic meters of granite and stone used. Yes, these are the diving guys. Their suits. 24 huge steel cages, the caissons, were lowered into the riverbed. Square triangular caissons formed individual chambers, and these teams of divers worked to dig out the foundations for the two towers. As the works progressed, the weight of the caissons pushed them deeper and deeper into the clay. And we continue up the stairs. Edward Wilson Crutchwell, I guess I'm saying that right, resident engineer, was on site the whole 8 years it took to build this bridge. All metal work was produced at William Errol's Steelworks in Glasgow and shipped to London. A team of 6 divers excavated over 21,000 cubic meters of clay to create the foundations. The weight of each tower, 70 kilotons. 53,000 cubic meters of concrete used. Shitload of material to build this bridge. And we continue up. Higher and higher. Huge chains ran between the abutments and towers. Each chain was made up of 2 segments weighing 3 tons per meter. They're held together with rods 15 centimeters in diameter. Length of bridge, 430 meters from shore to shore. Height of walkways, 33.5 meters above road level. Height of bridge, 63 meters from road level to top of towers. Steam crane drivers, masons, steelworkers, riveting gangs, navies, etc. A force of many trades and of all ages built the bridge. Portland limestone was shipped from Dorset to produce the elaborate decorations of the stonework. The granite used on the bridge came from Cornwall. We are in the North Tower. We're in the walkway, east walkway of the bridge. Well, we're in the east tower, east walkway it is, of the North Tower, overlooking the Thames and the rest of London. Nice big yacht down there. Got the city skyline. Another good vantage point, just like on the Ferris wheel where you get a good view of the city. Look on down. Furthermore, London's population grew rapidly in the 19th century. By the 1870s, 1 million people lived in the neighboring East End. They relied on the London bridges across the river, which could take hours. At the same time, ships lined up on the river to bring goods from all over the world into the Pool of London. Keeping river and road traffic moving was a serious problem. Before the bridge was built, the London Bridge was used by more than 120,000 pedestrians and 20,000 vehicles each day. Before this bridge was built, that is, people living upstream west of London Bridge had 12 bridges to choose from. The decision to build a new bridge was made by the Bridge House Estates Committee. It still runs the 5 city bridges today, and Tower Bridge still does the same vital job of keeping London moving. Cool. Continue walking on down. In 1876, the Corporation of London held a competition to design a new foot and vehicle bridge. It also had to be able to let ships with sails pass. More than 50 designs for floating, sliding, and lifting bridges were submitted, and a public consultation was held. Yeah, sailing ships pretty tall, so you have to have a bridge able to let them pass. Sir Horace Jones' winning design was a bascule or seesaw bridge which never opened in the middle. Not everyone liked it. Queen Victoria thought it would ruin the view of the Tower of London, so the very modern bridge was covered in stone to look old. John Wolfe Barry was an engineer who specialized in metal railway bridges. He joined the team and changed the metal arch into a horizontal span. It was possible now to build the horizontal walkways on which you are standing. Building work started in 1886, and Barry took over when Sir Horace Jones died a year into the works in 1887.
Yeah, but we're close to the sea, so it's a tidal river.
And we're walking over a glass walkway,
It's pretty much like the
looking straight down to the bridge and the river itself. This could creep out some people because, well, it's a long way down. When it opened after 8 years of construction works, Tower Bridge was seen as the technical marvel of its age. The main contractors were William Arrow and William Armstrong. It cost over £1 million in Victorian money to build. Between 13 and 14 million rivets in different sizes are holding the metal parts of the bridge together. Big bridge. The construction team worked at heights of up to 60 meters with no safety nets or harnesses. A report commissioned by the City of London Corporation after completion found that 10 lost their lives and 29 were seriously injured. I can only imagine. Skilled men who built Tower Bridge came from all over the UK. The Glasgow company Arrow provided the steel, and some of the riveting team might have worked on the Titanic years later. It really was a national effort. Work and materials came from all over the country. We're in the South Tower now. Made our way across. Obviously the tower is the same as the other one, but we went all the way across. Now we're going into the other walkway, which essentially is the same too. You just get to go on both sides of the bridge. Get a nice little shot of this side of London and the Belfast in the background. More of the city skyline. On this side, we're on the West Walkway. If the Tower Bridge failed to lift, traffic in London would come to a standstill. It opens 20 or 30 times a week and can open fully in 60 seconds. The opening of the bridge is fully automated, powered by electricity and oil pressure hydraulic. since the early 2K, controlled by computers and opened with a joystick. Till the mid-70s, huge steam engines under its southern approach had provided power. Interesting. Tower Bridge is a famous icon, obviously. Today, ships have to request an opening a day in advance. Originally, they just waited on the river for staff to signal with lights to tell them it was safe. They've always been able to pass free of charge and still take precedence over other traffic. So ships get priority. People have parachuted, flown planes through it, and driven a bus across it while it was opening. That's funny. Sound like something the Blues Brothers would do. River Thames has been carrying boats under the bridge since its opening in 1894. In 1957, it was declared biologically dead, but now is full of life again. Has over 125 species of fish, seals, and peregrine falcons thrive in the city. Shore use is used for picnics, sunbathing, and mudlarking, whatever that is. Since the Queen's Silver Jubilee in 1977, the color scheme of the Tower Bridge has been red, white, and blue. It's originally painted chocolate brown, then gunmetal gray during the Second World War to help camouflage it. A good thing. 1976, the Tower Bridge changed from steam to electric power. Today it only needs a staff of 18 to open and maintain, compared to 80 who were employed in its early days. Cool. Get to walk over the glass part again on this side and look at the long way down. Approximately 40,000 people cross Tower Bridge every day. When it opens, traffic lights and barriers protect drivers and pedestrians. Until the 1952, when the 78 bus jumped the bridge. This was done by a guard putting a rope across the road. What the heck? The first female employee was Charlotte Olive Dora Birch, who worked as a maid for the bridge master from 1895. Until far into the 20th century, women workers were rare, and even today, technical staff are mostly male. Well, it looks like we are at the official end of the line. Making our way back down the stairs. At one time, because this bridge was manned by so many people, they had to have a bridge master, and this is where he ate. Simple little structure. We're currently in the engine room. Well, the old engine room that used to power the bridge, which, as stated before, was powered by steam. Here are the boilers. The old boilers that used to supply the steam. To power the bridge. Of course, they preserved everything nicely, even though everything is electrified now. Pretty cool. A whole lot of coal was used to power this thing. 20 tons of coal per week. We're in the actual engine room, the steam engine that was used to operate the bridge. Of course, they have it set up to work electrically for demonstration purposes of how it moves. But, yeah. Got the big flywheel right here. Got the pistons. Right there, the actual steam engine assembly. Cranks everything. Pretty cool little setup. Another steam engine right here. This one's not set up to move, but still restored from when it was originally used. Got all the old tools lined up on the wall. Water tank, piston and crank. Big connecting rod right there. Back to the original engine room we were at. Nose bolt. These would almost look synonymous to what you might see in a steamship or a large locomotive from way back when. There's a bunch of artifacts from the engineers working the bridge. Oil cans and graphite for lubricating everything. Tea kettle, gotta have their tea. Lifting jack, eye bolts, a bell, box with gaskets for machinery. Now, of course, we have our displays of the different people who worked in the tower. John Gass, he was a bridge master. Retired at age 78. Hannah Griggs, she became a cook. During the Blitz, the Tower of London was bombed 15 times, but the Tower Bridge was never hit. Engines stopped being used in 1976. We already know about the Blues Brothers bus. Today, the bridge opens 20 to 30 times a week. Hand-operated levers were used to open the bridge when it was under steam power. Interesting. 20,000 liters of paint needed to cover the bridge. Accumulators, they built up steam pressure to help move everything. Another steam engine setup right here. All the old machinery preserved well. Well, we're done in the engine rooms and in the gift shop, and we are literally a few pounds lighter after going through the gift shop. So we're pretty much done at the bridge. So yeah, we're gonna get on back on the train and head on back in to our hotel so we can wrap up the evening, get us some food, and chill for the night. So stay tuned for more vacation footage as we continue to do some more touring again. So, as usual, like, subscribe, notifications, all that good stuff. We'll catch you again on the rest of our little trip. So, we're out.